What you feed grows. What you stare at expands. And what you focus on, you become. This is not poetry. This is not theory. This is the law. The man who wakes up and sees only obstacles lives a life built by them. But the one who wakes up and sees possibility, even in rubble, builds kingdoms from dust. Focus is not just attention. It is identity under construction. It is the blueprint of your future, written silently in the background of your mind. You think you're just reacting to life, but really you're shaping it moment by moment through the lens you choose. You focus on pain, you'll become pain. You focus on purpose, you'll become a weapon of it. And make no mistake, the world doesn't reward confusion, it rewards clarity. Because clarity is magnetic, it is rare, it is dangerous. When a person knows what they want and locks in, everything shifts. Look at Edison. He didn't focus on failure. Over 1,000 attempts, and each one taught him something. Not once did he obsess over what wasn't working. He locked in on what would. And because of that, he lit up the world. Most people will never taste greatness, not because they're not capable, but because they're busy staring at everything that isn't working, everything they fear, everything that might go wrong. They rehearse their limitations like a script until they perform it for real. The mind is a forge, and focus is the flame. When Carnegie walked through the steel mills as a young boy, he didn't see smoke and soot, he saw an empire. When Disney saw swampland in Florida, everyone laughed, but he saw a world of wonder. Their minds were governed by vision, not by what was obvious, not by what was easy. They were ruled by internal reality, not external circumstance. That's the key. That's the power. And that's your responsibility. The world will throw distractions at your feet like chains, notifications, comparison, doubt, noise. It will beg you to scatter your attention, to dilute your energy, because a distracted person is a weak one. But the focused are dangerous. They can move mountains, not because they are stronger, but because they are undivided. You want to change your life? Stop watching 10 things. Choose one. Choose something worth bleeding for. Burn the boats and lock in, because the moment you focus with intention, the fog starts to lift. You begin to see paths no one else saw. Not because they weren't there, but because you weren't ready to see them. Most people live in a state of mental clutter, trying to be everything, to please everyone, to do it all, and in the end they stand for nothing, achieve little, and wonder why they feel hollow. But you're not most people. You're here because something in you refuses to settle, because you've glimpsed, maybe only for a second, who you could become. And it scared you, not because it was impossible, but because it was real. That version of you isn't found in your comfort zone. It's hiding in your focus, locked inside your willingness to say, this is what I'm building, and I will not be moved. Every day you're writing the story of your future with your focus, not your wishes, not your goals pinned on a wall, but the thoughts you water, the feelings you repeat, the patterns you reinforce. Focus is how the soul speaks to the universe, and the universe responds in kind. If you focus on problems, you'll attract more problems. If you focus on growth, you'll start finding tools, people, and opportunities you never noticed before. Because focus filters reality. It doesn't just show you what is. It reveals what you're ready to receive. That's why two people can live the same day, face the same obstacle, and walk away with completely different outcomes. One sees a setback, the other sees the setup. One gets discouraged, the other gets determined. The difference? Focus. You think this is just about ambition? Number, this is about identity. Because you don't just get what you want in life, you get who you are. And who you are is determined by what you consistently focus on. So if you focus on being a victim, you'll live like one. If you focus on building strength, discipline, vision, and belief, you'll become a leader, whether anyone's watching or not. You have no idea how powerful you really are, but your focus does. And it's been waiting for you to take it seriously. Here's what the greats understood: Peale, Hill, Carnegie, Keller. What you hold in your mind, you hold in your life. If it lives in your thoughts long enough, it will show up in your reality. That's not wishful thinking. That's alignment. That's the law of sustained belief. That's mental discipline in action. So what are you choosing to align with? You can scroll endlessly, or you can train your attention like a weapon. You can complain about the life you don't have, or you can focus on building the one that's been waiting for you to show up. You can worry, or you can work. You can get distracted, or you can decide. Because at the end of the day, what you choose to focus on becomes the lens you live through. It shapes your habits. It determines your standards. It writes your story. So the question is not, what's wrong with my life? The question is, what am I choosing to magnify? Magnify fear, you shrink. Magnify doubt, you freeze. Magnify excuses, you rot. But magnify belief, you build. Magnify vision, you move. Magnify the climb, you grow strong enough to reach the summit. You're not powerless, you're just misdirected. Not broken, just scattered. And the moment you reclaim your focus, you reclaim your fire. So today, make it clear. Who are you becoming? What are you choosing to see? And what story will your focus write tomorrow? The answer is already in your hands, and it's not complicated. What you focus on, you become.